President Trump has removed the leader of Venezuela, and now he's taken out the Ayatollah in Iran. And both were critical allies to China. Nearly 20% of China's crucial oil supply comes from the two countries, which could now be in a standstill with Iran closing the Strait of Hormuz. The waterway supplies about a fifth of the world's entire oil supply and more than half of China's oil imports. And the CCP admits it's highly concerned by the war. Russian President Vladimir Putin also called the Ayatollah an outstanding statesman who made a huge personal contribution to the development of friendly Russian-Iranian relations. So, what's next for China and Russia? Joining me now is Asia expert and author of Plan Red, China's project to destroy America, Gordon Chang. Gordon, great to see you here tonight. Thank you so much for being here. So China has a problem now. They get a lot of their oil from Iran. They got a lot of oil from Venezuela. And now Russia seems to be the only place that they can really go.
Yes, and the Russians are not going to sell them oil as cheaply as the Iranians and the Venezuelans did. Now, yes, China can get oil from them, and they can also get oil out of their strategic petroleum reserve, but they don't want to do that because they want that reserve for going to war. So right now, China's not in a very good place because their economy is addicted to this cheap oil that they've been getting from various sanctioned countries.
In terms of the geopolitical situation right now, of course, you have a lot of U.S. military assets in the Middle East to take on Iran, which means that China feels like they probably have some wiggle room on what they're capable of doing while the president is looking at a month-long campaign in that region. Do you have any concerns that Xi may look at the map and say, well, the Americans are distracted in the Middle East, Taiwan's vulnerable, it's our chance to take that country?
I'm not terribly worried. And the reason is that the Chinese military right now is in disarray because of the purges of Xi Jinping. Just about 3 days ago, they announced that 9 senior officers were basically cashiered. And then before that, in January, they took out the #1 uniformed officer, General Zhang Yaoshao, who was the first vice chairman of the Communist Party's Central Military Commission, which controls the military. But that's not to say I'm not worried about war, because Xi Jinping could very well stumble into war with his very provocative and belligerent activities against South Korea, Japan, Taiwan, the Philippines, Australia, and the United States. So the risk of war in Asia is really pretty high, but not because Xi Jinping thinks the U.S. is distracted in Iran.
Yeah, well, during the first term, President Trump had a very good relationship with President Xi. Then COVID happened, of course. President Trump is expected to be in Beijing in April. Do you think that meeting will continue, given that China is now reliant on only Russia and it's going to be expensive for their energy? Or do you think that that will get rescheduled at some point?
Well, I hope it gets postponed indefinitely forever, because President Trump, for a lot of reasons, should not be going to China. But he certainly shouldn't be going to China in the middle of a war where China is on the other side. It is a combatant. It's been supplying the Iranians with some pretty lethal equipment, plus also diplomatic propaganda support. And as well, there's the elevated commodity purchases. So President Trump shouldn't be going there in the first place.
All right. Well, we'll see if that meeting takes place. Gordon Chang, thank you so much for your expertise. Great to see you.
Thank you, Katie.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.